Good morning, everybody. It's Jillian. So I was kind of figuring, what am I going to talk about today? And just so you know, the atmosphere is still very aggressive, very aggressive. The virus hasn't disappeared. The virus hasn't disappeared, and animals and humans are still getting affected. Virus is also mutating. Um, and so And the trolls are still out there. Okay? You guys, if you're doing the J juice and you're, somewhat maybe a little bit active in the group, but you have no testimony. I mean, if you're active in the group, it means you don't care people know that you're doing the juice. Which means that, okay, if you're gonna be out there on my page or in my group and you're not very well versed with the trolls and you don't want to be bugged by them, then guess what? You should do a testimony. You should do the J juice enough to shut everybody up and say, hey, yeah, I'm getting results. But why the trolls bug certain people is because they see that you're in my group, you're on my page, you're somewhat active maybe, but you have never given a testimony. You've been around the juice for who knows how long, a couple years, maybe less than that, but you've never given a testimony. So what are you defending? Why are you bugged by the trolls? You see, that's the thing about the trolls, is they find the low-hanging fruit. The trolls look for the easiest, weakest type of person, and they will try to pick at them. That's what they do. Okay, and so if you're on the J juice and you're getting some kind of results, you need to talk about it. You need to talk about it and say, hey, I'm on the J juice. I'm getting results. Fuck you. In a lot of weird, different ways you can say that. And then you block and delete. You don't tell me to block and, because I'm telling you, the trolls, they know who I am. They have people working for each other. They spy. They do the whole spy versus spy. I mean, they have a whole system going on. And if you're all still stuck in your world doing whatever you're doing, you're not really paying attention really to J juice. Maybe you are, maybe you aren't, I don't know. Okay? They're too busy organizing, and you're so disorganized you haven't even done the J juice long enough to have a testimony to where you would shut them up. Because if you do J juice long enough and heavy enough, you would know how to block and delete. And you would shut them up because you have a testimony in there that says, hey, yeah, my name is so-and-so. I've been doing the J juice for this long. I totally love Jillian. She's awesome. She's freaking amazing. I've gotten over all my different health issues. Yeah, I had to face some fire, but you know what? It was worth it. Everything that she says actually is right. And then you know what? The trolls, I mean, they'll still try to make it. I have people in my group that have given testimonies and they have never been bugged by the trolls. You know why? Because they're strong. Trolls don't go after strong people because they know that there's nothing really they can do with strong people. They would think either they think you're brainwashed or that, they're not going to get any mileage out of you. Okay? So if you react, whether it's to me or you react to the trolls and you talk to them, they're getting mileage out of you. And it shows that you are weak. Okay? That's what it shows. Trolls love weak people because they take your energy. They take your minerals. They get a benefit from messing with you. Strong people don't put up with anything. They block, delete, and they move on. They don't even respond. Now, sometimes I will respond to people who are not totally directly trolling me, but they'll say something like where I'm not sure if they're really serious or not, but I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt because I'm not going to be paranoid like they are. Because they're paranoid, obviously. So I'll respond and say, they're like, hey, like yesterday, somebody sent me an email where like they were talking about how they were interested. They're like, oh, were you on Dr. Phil? I'm kind of interested in your juice. And then I respond back with my usual copy and paste from my pinned post because I don't do any personal consultations. And they come back going like, well, you did this, you did that. I don't think you're credible. Blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, fine. And then I block and delete because I really know what their intention is. But when someone's obvious in their intentions and they're sending you really mean, scared, really mean type of paranoid where they think that something is wrong with Jilly Juice, that's out there. Come on. You've been watching me for the last 4 fucking years. I mean, come on. You got to realize that they're out there. I don't deal with those trolls out there. Nobody sends me a private message anymore. I don't get any more private messages from trolls. I really don't. And even if I did, I just block and delete. I don't even, or I report to Facebook for harassment. Okay? So, you got to get, if you're on the J juice, then you got to hit it hard. This 1 cup a day, 2 cups a day, and you've been around my information for a while, and you're active on my Facebook, you're saying stuff, but you're not saying anything about how amazing the juice is or how you're getting any kind of benefit. So why are you doing the juice if you get no benefit? If you're gonna be active on my Facebook talking about, hey, that's great, or you're supporting me in some way, why don't you get something out of it? Why don't you get a testimony? Why don't you do the juice long enough where you can get a testimony? Why don't you do the juice hard enough where you can get a testimony? Okay? Because if you don't get a testimony from Jilly Juice, then why are you doing it? Why are you defending me? Why are you worried about me having to block trolls, Do the J juice to hard enough where you actually get a freaking testimony. That's how you shut the trolls up. Because at this point, if you're active on my Facebook with no testimony and you're defending me, they think that you're just brainwashed, not really serious, and that you'll be easily persuadable to get off the J juice and stop promoting it in your indirect way. When you actually get a testimony, you now are like, you're cemented in. But if you have no testimony, then you're on the fence. And trolls see weaknesses and they see people on the fence. And that's how the predators go after the prey. So when you're bitching about the trolls, and I'm going to be honest, when you're mad about the trolls, you now become a victim. And predators and victims, they go hand in hand. They are 2 sides of the same coin. They feed off each other. That's why when I walk away from people, places, and things that are not serving me, unless they actually show very different side of them, a strength that I can understand and get with, and they acknowledge whatever wrongdoings, or I don't say wrongdoings, they acknowledge that maybe, we get off on the wrong foot or whatever, then here we go. But that's more than that. You got to post it in the group, and then you block and delete, Okay, but that's the thing is that, where was I going? But, God dang. So trolls, they feed off of the weak. They go hand in hand. And when people affect you, that's right. I walk away from people, places, and things that are not serving me. And so that's what all of you got to do. If you want to be strong in this world, you got to walk away and ignore the things that aren't serving you. Because it has to be something of benefit. You got to get something out of it, and they got to get something out of it from you. Either way. Okay? Both of you have to be getting some kind of benefit. And if one person's getting benefit and you're not, then why are you in that relationship? But if you want to do a testimony in the group, Nikkei, post it. If you're willing to post it now on this right here, post it in the group. Give people hope in my group. Okay? That's the strength is showing how amazing the juice is, and then not allowing the people out there to victimize you to where you feel like you're a victim. Okay? We don't want any victims in the group. That's why I don't allow anyone to post anything about trolls in the group, because that comes from a victim mentality. And we're not victims. People who bitch about the vaccines or about Monsanto and about all these different things, the 5G, they come off as a victim. When you come off as a victim, it's very easy to be prey. It's very easy to have a predator find the weaknesses and start pushing your buttons. And they get you all riled up. But I'm responding to you guys that are dealing with that so I can give you some kind of idea how not to be a victim, okay? And not to be a low-hanging fruit for some troll to go and antagonize you. And that is get a testimony, post it in the group, not just on this thread, but post it in the group and say, hey, my name is Nikkei, and I've been on this juice for 4 years, and I've been on and off. I wasn't totally heavily into it. And I know I have a lot more issues out there. It's not just my eczema, but it's some other stuff that I'm working on actively. And this is my results. This is what I found. It's amazing. And you put yourself out there. So now everybody knows that you're pretty much staunchly supporting the juice. You're not going to be swayed by someone talking smack because you know they're talking out of their ass. And you're not going to worry about it. Okay? And so But some of you have businesses that you are, wanting to defend, and I understand that, and you can't you can't afford the bad press. Which I've had somebody say that they've given me a testimony before, but said they have to kind of relax on it because they have a business and they don't want people messing with their business. And so they're going to chill out on the testimony, which I'm like, oh, that's fine. I get it. Sometimes it's harder to defend JGs when you have people that you are, you're dependent on supporting you and they're not agreeing with your decisions as a business owner. That's the call you're going to have to make, on your own. And so everyone's going to make their own choices on what's important to them. But I'm not worried about it because that person gave me a testimony that was really awesome. And it's given somebody hope in my group about what they were dealing with. And now they're going to go live their life. And I'm fine with that. Even if you gave one testimony in the group and you came out publicly in the group, wherever, because the group is pretty much public, okay? It's not private. Then you're golden. You really don't have to do anything else. Okay, now if you want to give updates, that's up to you. Some people, that have given testimony and then they're gone and done their own thing, and I don't worry about them. They don't worry about me, and they're not posting anything else, and they're on their Facebook about remedies and other stuff, right? Not that I really care, but they're not speaking on both sides of their mouth. And then when they come on my Facebook and they say this, and that, and I see them posting stuff about, I don't know, their remedies, and I'm like, dude, you're speaking on both sides of your mouth. You're being hypocritical. And then that's when I get kind of triggered because I'm like, why would you support that and post that and have people go, eat these types of concoctions when you could be supporting J juice? Yeah, they gave a testimony a long time ago, but who knows? People fall off all the time. People mix in my protocol with their protocols, and then it doesn't make sense. Then you're undermining because you're taking large amounts of lemon water and turmeric and honey and all this stuff, and then doing J juice on the side. That turmeric and honey and lemon water are very antibiotic. And then they will undermine your microbiome. And then the little J juice that you're doing is going to do nothing. It's going to mean nothing. It's going to be nothing. I'm drinking coffee with a little bit of creamer in it. So yeah, I don't want you guys to be low-hanging fruit. We have no victims in our group. I'm going to hear my dog. Hold on. Come on, Shuggy. But there's no bed in here, Sugar. I thought you were downstairs with Daddy. Come here. But I don't want you guys to be low. There's no victims in my group. There's no low-hanging fruit in my group, okay? Or on my page. If you're going to be active on my page in some way, shape, or form, you got to exude strength. You got to block, delete, and ignore. But, I mean, we're getting into the summer season, and everyone's going to be mixing in with each other. Sure. All right, go ahead. Everyone's going to be mixing in with each other. You're going to see a resurgence of this virus. I mean, I already see people on my Facebook with friends that are in their 30s, 40s, 50s that are dying. Heart attacks and strokes and whatever. So, now more than ever, you really need to hit the juice hard. Okay? Because, you might as well. What else do you have to lose? Yeah, they're reopening society and you have the time to really get started on the juice. I see you, Sugar. But some of you are waiting until the last second. But yeah, if you take all these different remedies, okay? All right, Sugar, hold on. Go. You keep taking these different remedies out there, and they're very antibiotic, very acidic, super acidic, like lemon water or lemon juice. My dog, she's just back and forth. Then you're going to undermine your process, okay? So I'm going to go do my thing. My husband's home today. My dog needs me. But I'm going to let you know that the animals do get affected. My dog was sneezing the other day. And so I know that she's also been dealing with some upgrades. So your animals are going to get affected. Your kids are going to get affected. You're going to get affected. And you really have to do the juice to allow yourself to adapt and support your adaptation. Because episodes of adaptation are going to happen. And some of you do not have what it takes to handle the upgrades, the episodes. So, it's one of those where you can just chalk it up to oh yeah, they have a pre-existing condition, so that's why they died, and be okay with that. or say, you know what, I don't have to die from these heart attacks and strokes, things that I have as my pre-existing conditions. And it's time for me to deal with my pre-existing conditions with the right chemistry. And so you have that opportunity. And so anyways, yeah, you guys got to be serious about this. But don't let don't let anybody out there make you a victim. People think that I've created victims out of the J juice. No, victims are chosen, their own choice. They've chosen to be victims. Oh, that's victim blaming. Well, here's the thing. I know how my society works. Okay, I know how my society works. There's human trafficking. There are rapists. There are thieves out there. There are people who mean no good to a lot of people out there. Do I walk out at night after 9 without being armed in some way, shape, or form, walking my dog? I don't even walk my dog after dark. Okay? Maybe early in the morning. Do I go to the liquor store or to Walmart or any kind of grocery store after dark? Not unless I'm with my husband. Not unless I'm with my husband. I don't go out really after dark too much unless I'm with my husband. Do I go to the bars after dark by myself? I don't even go to bars. I don't even drink. Okay? I watch my surroundings around me. I watch who I park next to. I pretty much am very aware. Like, I'm watching these Facebook posts about girls that are missing. Their car is is parked with the keys in ignition, their phone and their purse is in the car, parked at a church, and they were last seen at some, tanning salon. And this is in Ohio, okay? And I'm like, what the hell? And so I'm putting, as a comment going like, girls, you need to be aware of your surroundings. Girls, you need to watch who it is that you're dating. Now, I know I met my husband online, but I've been doing telemarketing for at least, 8 to 10 years. I have an idea of who people are. I have a very good read on people. Okay, even when I wasn't doing the J juice, I kind of knew who was serious and who was not, because that's how I sold my products, was through the freaking telephone. Okay, so don't be a victim, which means that be aware of your surroundings. Look at the indicators. I will never just go and invite my neighbors who I don't know into my house by myself. Even with my husband, he wouldn't invite anybody in the house. We're friendly, but we're not that friendly. Okay? We don't just allow anybody in our circle, because I have a hard time trusting a lot of different people. There's a good measure. There's a good balance of trusting and verifying. Okay? And so you really have to do your due diligence, look for indicators, and watch your surroundings. And so victims are a lot of ways by choice. Okay? Because you're not aware. They're not privy to what's going on because they're too busy, distracted by other things. And, when you trust strangers, and it takes hard lessons. I've trusted strangers and man, I got my ass bit. But those are the lessons that you hope you can survive. Okay? And so the whole thing with the J juice is we don't create victims in J juice. There are no victims in J juice. There's no victims in the Jilly juice world. And if you come off as a victim in the Jilly juice world, it's not for you. Okay? Jilly juice is not for you. Because you haven't taken responsibility, being aware of your surroundings, being aware of what kind of group you're part of, being aware of what I go through. So if I go through some stuff, you're going to go through some stuff too. Okay? And you have to rise above. And I talk about this all the time. Not all the time, but I've talked about this many different times. And so you learn how to block, delete, ignore. Don't become a victim. If you're in a rough neighborhood, do a concealed carry. Make sure you're armed. Make sure you have everything you need to protect yourself. And that includes the J juice too. It's not just, people out there. It's also your body, mind, and spirit. When there's a virus that's in the environment and you're taking all these different remedies and detoxes and antibiotics and pills, powders, and supplements and kombucha and apple cider vinegar, and you don't really look at the science very closely, and you're just listening to some guru on freaking Facebook that sounds good, and they're holding their breath underwater for hours and hours at a time, which obviously that you can't survive that. But they're doing all these crazy things to their body, and you're just following in lockstep. Well, you brought it on to yourself. In the beginning, when I first started J Juice, I brought on a lot of controversy because I made claims without substantiating through science. Finally, it was substantiated through science. But I brought a lot of issues and controversy onto myself because of the drama that I wasn't able to substantiate. But now I'm able to substantiate. But now people have the choice whether to read my stuff or not. But there are no victims with J Juice. And we don't want you to learn the hard way as far as the world. So if you do the J Juice and you see my science and you can watch my Facebook, you see what I am posting, you see the substantiation through the different articles and you read it, okay, then you'll choose to do it and you know what to expect on some level. You see indicators of healing and you just do it. And then you'll be able to be more savvy in finding the predators out there before they actually make you a victim. So you don't have to be a victim in order to learn. Sometimes you can actually sidestep being a victim and know who the predator is and you sidestep him and you go a different direction. That's the beauty of J Juice, understanding indicators. And when you're not on J Juice and you're living from your biochemistry, which is all messed up, you're going to learn the hard way and you will always be a victim. Always. I don't care what you're victim in, whether it's women's rights or civil rights or anything, orientation, whatever. If you are always crying victim and crying foul and saying how people are doing this, and that to you, look at what you do, practice, you don't read the climate, you don't understand the world that you live in. Sometimes you may have to move. They're like, oh my God, this guy, he was just running and how... It's hard when you're being targeted and you're doing something innocent. But even I don't run. I don't go and run. I'm not a runner. Running in itself, okay, it's not a bad thing, but running really isn't good for you. But who am I to say? People should be able to do whatever the hell they want for the most part, and they're innocent. Like, I should be able to walk my dog without getting attacked. You're right. I should be able to walk my dog without getting attacked. But I also walk in my neighborhood, and I'm very aware of the surroundings around me. And I don't walk too far. So, could you 100% mitigate anything potentially happening, such as someone like attacking you, trying to kill you? There's no 100%, but I would say that there are indicators out there, and you just take the necessary precautions. I'm not saying be totally paranoid and lock yourself up in the house all the time, no. But take the necessary precautions and try to put yourself in a situation where something could happen. Yeah, when a black guy in a somewhere in the South is a very different situation. It's a very different situation. That's kind of scary in some places, yes. An Asian girl in Ohio is not as scary, not so bad. If you are transgender in a very conservative area, you better watch yourself. Okay, so you have to know these things. These are indicators to say, okay, take control of your life. Don't put yourself in a position to then confirm how horrible the world is. Don't create the reason why we have all these different legislations of protection. People are going to be imbalanced or going to do stupid stuff, and then you have to be the one to kind of know how the world works, and then you don't put yourself in a position to where something could happen. Okay? And so it's always figuring out where you're responsible, what you could have done to stop it before it happens, and go a different direction. And there's some things that you just can't help, but those are very few and far between. Okay? And that's pretty much it. So don't become a victim. And Jilly Juice does not house victims. We have no victims in Jilly Juice. None. And we have no predators either. But without a predator, you don't have a victim. And there's no predators in Jilly Juice either. So if there's a victim in my Jilly Juice, there's a predator, and then you got to be out. Okay, so if you think that Jilly Juice is predatory and you're a victim, then you don't belong in this world, no matter what. Go find another predator to go and prey upon you. But Jilly Juice is not housing any predators or any prey. Okay, so that's how it works. Bye.